We want to start off with a reminder that we are not doctors. Before you make any changes or try something new, always consult with your doctor and medical team first. Chronic illness can vary from patient to patient, so it's always best to consult with your own doctor for what is best for you.
Hello and welcome to I Be Determined. I'm your host, Mason Harvey, and I speak from the role of a patient, and I have Crohn's disease.
And I'm your other host, Michelle Harvey. I am Mason's mom, and I speak from the role of a caregiver. Except today, we're not really going to be talking too much about IBD.
We're going to be talking about something special.
Yeah, and it's something kind of fun we thought we'd take a break with because we talked about the Disney DAS Pass last week.
Time.
So it's like, hey, let's continue the Disney
vibe.
theme. Yeah, let's keep it going. And
let's keep the Disney vibe.
So we're going to talk about what we did for Mason's birthday, which we mentioned on the last episode. If you watched it, you'll know where we were. And if you didn't, you know now if you're watching this one. And so we got to go to
Club 33.
Yeah, which is pretty exciting.
It's a really big deal.
It really is because, you think about a year ago, we were like, oh my gosh, could you imagine if we can get to Club 33? Yeah. Like, it was always like a dream.
Big deal. Yeah, it was like, a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Like Disney magic.
Yeah. Like, how would that ever actually happen? Yeah. And
how is it possible?
We knew, Club 33 is one of the most exclusive Disney dining experiences probably in the world because it was the original. And
there's no other Club 33s that are like that one because it was the first one to ever
that Walt Disney oversaw. Like he did pass away before it was completed,
finished, but he oversaw the first.
Right. He worked with the artists. He worked with acquiring the antiques that went into it and some of their own furniture, movie props, things like that. And so there's a special magic to Club 33. Yeah. And so it's just one of those things, like, I think it's the ultimate goal of anybody who loves Disney to get in,
to go
and go do this. Yeah. And some of you listening may have been lucky enough to get in. A membership is required and the waiting list is extremely long, like years long. So even if you have enough money to become a member, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You can't just buy our way onto the list. You have to wait.
So you can see why. Like, we thought, okay, we'll never probably get to go there. And then all of a sudden, here we are. And we've been there 3 times in like the past 7 months, which is like.
And every time we go there, it's still magical.
It is.
I want
to get back again. Yeah. And
who wouldn't?
But it's like, how does this happen? We went from like this unattainable goal to all of a sudden getting to experience it in the fall, the winter, the spring.
And the servers are like, oh, hello, there you are again.
Which we'll get into. We're going to discuss because that is a huge part of this. And so that's pretty cool. So I think the best way to do this, we could just talk about Club 33 but we've done that before. We have a whole, we did one before and that was like our first experience with it. And so this is like us being there the 3rd time. And, so it's not going to be quite as detailed because we have another episode, which we'll post up there for you guys if you want to watch it, that really goes into the whole experience with Club 33. So we're going to discuss Club 33, but we're also going to talk about why this day was so special, is incredible. And we started the day heading up to Disneyland.
Yeah.
And we got to stay
that night at the Grand California Hotel.
Yeah.
Because of my grandma.
Yeah. She was like, hey, you know what? It's for his birthday. Let's just stay there. And so
that was so cool.
Sweet. So even though we only live like an hour away from Disneyland, it was still really exciting that we got to just have a hotel room to go back to and chill and get ready for Club 33.
The nice part is you have to account traffic and all that stuff. And when you go to Disneyland, you are like, well, we have to leave by this time if we want to get home by this time. And you can't just stay there. But and your feet might be tired because you've been walking all day.
Yeah.
And you have to go back home and all that stuff.
Tiring.
So it's just so relaxing just going to the hotel and going up to your room and just be like, okay, just gonna stay here for the night. And you don't have to worry about going home or any of that stuff.
Yeah, we stayed at like Mason said, at the Grand Californian. And when we pulled in, I mean, first of all, we were wearing team shirts.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we do this.
Actually, it was funny. I just had the idea.
It was Mason's idea. Yeah.
Because I don't usually do that, but I was like, how about we wear our blood donor shirts,
Yeah.
So all three of us wore our blood donor shirts.
Right. And we had shirts made that say like blood donors saved my son's life. And Mason says blood donors saved my life.
Yeah.
And so it's a way that we can initiate conversation without even knowing somebody and say thank you. And it also encourages others to donate because they get to meet Mason and it's like, hey, this kid is here.
This is one of the people that we are saving, It encourages them to donate more.
Right.
Which is what we want.
Right. And to thank them, like without these people, you don't realize how many people are walking around you that their lives have been saved because of blood donations. And so I think it's really important. So we pulled up to the hotel.
Yeah. And the valet.
There was a woman who opened the door for me and her name was Dawn. And
Very
when
nice.
she opened the door right away, she saw my shirt and she was like, hold on a second. Let me read that. And she got emotional and got kind of teary-eyed. And so I started talking to her about it. And she said she was a blood donor. And she wanted to know, it says your son. She said, that says your son on there. And so I said, he's actually getting on the car on the other side. Yeah. And she was like, can I say hi? I'd like to meet him. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So she went over there.
We started talking, At one part we got, it was funny. It was kind of like meant to be. We had a little, not your average slice of pizza book in the back of the car with the luggage. It's kind of just sitting back there. If there's anyone we want to give it to, I gave her the book and I was like, here, you can have this. And she was like, can you sign it? So I signed it. And she was so happy to have the book.
It was pretty cool because it was lucky because we don't always have a book in the car.
So it was kind of magic. Disney magic.
Yeah. So she was all excited. And
I was so happy.
So I'm like, there's going to be a part in there that you'll be able to relate to, with the blood donation. So that was that. We said goodbye and it was like, it was cool to meet her. It really
just kind of made the day starting off,
Yeah. And then we went inside the hotel to go check in.
Another person
named Mary.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, I donated too. And she was positive.
She asked what type you were. Yeah, and she was like, all excited because she's like, me too. And again, because of the shirts, because she was reading the shirts. And so then she kept offering.
She was really funny. And because she said, if you need anything, come back to the reception desk and I'll be here for you. And if you need blood, I'll be here too.
She did.
That's really funny.
She did. So she's like, you just let me know. You need anything blood, I've got you, And so it was so really cool.
So happy.
Yeah. And so that was how we started
out the day.
And so then we decided to head into DCA, which is Disney California Adventures, because
my favorite restaurant, Smoke Jumpers.
He loves Smoke Jumpers. And so he loves their chicken tenders.
Yes, and they have the best fries in the world.
Yeah, and their fries. Yeah. And so it was like, okay, so it's his birthday, so he gets to pick whatever he wants. So we got our first ride scheduled. And I think that Cars that we did first, the Radiator Springs, or did we? It
was Cars first.
It was Radiator Springs, yeah. So we did that, and so while we were waiting, we ate our lunch, and we got the text that our room
was ready. Yeah.
So we headed up to our room, and we had like a bellhop. He brought up our luggage. We had a room that was attached. My mom had her own room, and this place it's really a great place to stay.
It's the best. In my opinion, it's the best hotel. It's expensive, but for a good reason.
Yeah.
And if you like cabins, you're gonna like the style.
National Park.
Yeah, that's why I love it. I love cabins, and it has the cabin look. It's made on the outside. It's made out of wood.
Yeah.
Like logs, and on the inside it has I don't know. This is cabin.
It sounds small when you say cabin, but it's
not cabin. It's
it is
massive.
cabin style, but it's huge. It's like on a large scale.
Yeah.
So it's pretty exciting. And so anyways, so my mom had her own room. We had ours. We had the adjoining door. So they brought in all their stuff and the bellhop was like, oh, hey, there is an extra bag on here because they count all your bags. So that way they make sure they give you the same amount that you came in with. And he goes, and it's for Mason. And we were like, what? And my husband was trying to guess who could have sent it. I'm like, nobody knew we were staying here because I didn't really say anything about that. So I'm like, I don't know who could have done that. And so he opened it up and there was a note and I'll let you tell.
And it was from Dawn, which was really cool. But the way she addressed it was really funny. In the book, the blood donators for Reggie are tomatoes because marinara sauce is made out of tomatoes and, blood for Reggie, kind of. And so when she addressed it, she said, "From a tomato."
Yeah, because it was so
It was
cute.
so cool.
It was such an awesome note. And then there was like a lightsaber, and
there was a lightsaber. It was
Star
really
Wars
cool.
like lightsaber across like hat,
Yeah,
a
it was so
Nike
cool.
hat,
Yeah.
super cool. So
It
that
was
was
so
like,
cool.
yeah. And I don't even know if we had told him it was your birthday. Like we were
No.
celebrating. It was just like, I mean, we got you a birthday button at that point. So
Yeah.
that was the other cool point. You know, most of you know this trick. I don't even think I need to tell anybody, but if you're watching this and you don't get the buttons, you can request them. So it's like a pin and they put your name on it. And so the cool part is cast members all day, you'll hear happy birthday. Yeah, everyone tells you. So it makes it really
cool.
really fun. And so that's just like a free fun tip. That was kind of like the feeling going into the evening.
Yeah.
And
magical.
It really was. And so then we're like, okay, it was time to start to get ready to go to Club 33. And they have a dress code. Mason was dressed up really nice. And you had your Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, Steamboat Willie tie.
Which was really cool. And so we all got dressed up. Then we headed back into Disneyland, and it's right next to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And
it's like,
it's like the next the address is 33 Royals.
Yeah, 33. And there's a little doorbell that says 33 on it.
It's one street over from from where the Blue Bayou is. So
you think about it like this. So if you're at Pirates of the Caribbean and you look up and you see there's the blue railing on the side of the little balcony above Pirates of the Caribbean. To the right, it's not above, but if you look up, that it's in that area. Yeah,
it's kind of fun because you get to ring the doorbell, and then
when you ring it, the speaker, they're like, "Hello, welcome to Club 33. What can we do for you today?" And you tell them what you're there for and all that stuff. So.
And so then the door opens and you go into, and it's like a little entrance room. So nobody still from the outside, even if they looked, they're not going to see anything.
No, because Club 33. There's another little door inside. So
so you go in there, you check in, and we are very respectful of this because we know it's a privilege. This is not something that is easy to get, and we just feel very fortunate. So
I can't even believe we've been there 3 times.
I know. And so you go into the entrance room, then we got ushered into the next area, which is a huge like
staircase.
So you go in there and they immediately bring you a towel, damp towel. Like they have these folded up towels with warm water. And so I always feel so awkward. Like, this is so cool.
Like, what exactly do I do with them?
It's but it's nice. Yeah. So you're like, okay, I'm going to towel off a little bit. And then, okay, I'll, clean whatever. So it's like a special little touch that just makes you feel like it's an already different experience. And so then somebody came down. They did have drinks there available. Like, I think it's like a tea or something like that.
Yes.
But we were ready to go up and get to the meal. And so they take you up the beautiful flight of stairs, and
so cool.
You can choose the stairs or the elevator.
There is a little elevator. It's a really beautiful one too.
It is. And we've ridden in that before. And this time though, we chose to do the stairs going up. And
you have to go up the stairs at least once.
I think that's the best way to make the entrance. That would be our advice. If you're going there for, one time, take the stairs up, because if you take the elevator, it takes you straight inside Club 33. So you miss the outside experience.
But if you take
when you first arrive,
the stairs, you get to see the entrance.
Yeah, with the cool mosaic.
Yeah, the mosaics
that everybody takes pictures of. They put their feet around it. It's pretty famous. So, and you can, if you take the elevator up, you can go outside and you can see these, because to use the restrooms, you do have to walk through this area. So it's cool. There's really no way to describe it.
No.
It's really neat. It's very special. And there's little balconies everywhere, and there's the stairways, and so you go into Club 33, and there is a little area where they have some Club 33 merchandise that you can purchase. That is always so fun. And I had a gift card that I had been gifted by some clients of mine, which thank you guys. It was so cool. So I was like, I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get mini ears. And so let me show you guys. I have them right
really
here.
Cool.
So here they are. And it's kind of neat because
have all those little things are things from Club 33.
Yeah. And so, and even the bow has Club 33 on it.
The back.
And then this is on there as well. So these are I love these, and I like the story on the ears as well. And I don't just keep these things like in a bag, I wear them.
Yeah.
So it's something I do wear these. So, and then Mason.
Yeah, I got some swag too.
Yeah.
Got a Club 33 hat, which this little buzzard, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
This buzzard here is named Alfred. Yeah. So this is Alfred. And if you walk in through the entrance and you look, okay, so you're going the entrance that way and you look
it's
to the left.
Yeah, it's to your left.
There's a giant clock, a grandfather clock. And Alfred is on the top of it. And well, he's on break right now. He's in Hawaii, wherever he is.
That was the joke. Yeah,
he's on a break.
He's getting some work done, you know. He's getting older.
But when he is there, he will say things occasionally.
Yeah.
And so that's a really cool little thing. And
Disney was part of that. So Walt Disney, that is a very special kind of relic antique part of the club. He's like their mascot.
So here's a funny story really quick. Is the birds, well, there were more than one, I think, but that's the one that stayed. He had different birds around in Club 33, and he'd have microphones or speakers in the chandeliers above the tables so we could listen on the conversations, and then he'd talk through the bird to the guests. So it'd be like the birds were listening and talking to the guests.
And I think ultimately they decided against that because it probably felt like, are they gonna feel like we're listening in on their conversations? But it was a cool effect that but they didn't end up doing that to my knowledge.
Alfred just talks now. He doesn't listen or anything.
Right, that we know of.
Yeah. Oh, he might. Oh.
Yeah. He might tell other people we all talked about, which were not very exciting, but I'm sure there's some other people in there that you could
like they really just looked around. They didn't really do much.
They kept talking about how expensive the food was.
Yeah.
So that would be our table.
So anyways, back to the hat. It's this really nice blue color. It has the Club 33 logo with
it's
Alfred
on the side too.
On the side. Oh yeah, Club 33 is on the side too.
And underneath it, it's
yes, there's this really cool pattern.
Yeah, that's like their new pattern.
Their new pattern, like dark blue, light blue, gold, and white.
They have like different themes depending on the time of the year of different merchandise they have.
So. And instead of on the back where they have Velcro, they have this little like link where you can straighten it or make it shorter. But there's this really cool little. It's hard to see.
I can see it right
little
now.
Buckle. And it says Club 30. It says 33 on it, and it's really cool.
I mean, this isn't like super.
Whoa! It's not gonna work with this.
But it's not like it's super expensive, but it's exclusive to there. So these are only things you can buy if you're in Club 33.
If you're in Disneyland, you can't get these.
Yeah,
so
it's special for in there. So there's just these cool stories in there, and I'm glad we got to see him, Alfred, because he wasn't there this time, but we did get to see him the 2 other times. And so people going right now.
He's a likable dog. He's a likable bird.
But they had like a painting or a picture. So it was really cute. Like, so you could still
on
see
vacation.
him. Yeah, just on vacation. And so we got the little tour. They asked if since we've been there before, they're like, do you want us to go over the stuff? And we're like, yes. We still want to hear the same stories. So we got to walk by the art. And
we actually learned something new. And it's that Lillian Disney, Walt Disney's wife, she collected butterflies. Yeah, and she had a collection of them. And there's also a harpsichord, which was Lillian Disney's. Well, it was a little bland. And so Walt had a pretty little picture painted on the top that lifts up. And something else interesting about it is the keys are reversed. So the white keys are black keys and the black keys are white keys. So it's really interesting looking.
Yeah.
But behind the harpsichord, there's a little picture, not a picture, but
like a framed.
And there's some butterflies in it. And those butterflies are 4 of the actual butterflies that she had in her collection.
Yeah, which is pretty neat.
So that's so
like,
cool.
Oh, that's cool. And so this time, the hostess, she took us over to we have sat in the same table, which is funny. It's like, I think it's the best table in the house that we got to sit at twice. It's in front of the big window. It's
you can look over Disneyland a lot.
Yeah. And so this time when we walked in, I noticed there were a lot of big tables, like big parties. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be busy
Hard
there
to
because
take the mask off.
is very small.
Yeah.
It's not a huge place.
Yeah,
and
it's not
so
like a big restaurant that everyone can go
No.
to. No, it's just small.
no. And
No, it's not small.
but it doesn't feel like it when you're in there because the way it's very exclusive. They don't have a lot of people in there at the same time. That's that way the service stays excellent. And so there was this separate seating area.
Yeah, it's a little cove area.
Yeah. And so she's like, let me show you these pictures over here. And they were paintings of the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, so one of the paintings was like the Haunted Mansion, but more haunted, kind of like with trees and stuff overgrown and stuff. And that was a picture before the Haunted Mansion.
I believe
existed.
so, or one of the inspiration.
It was inspiration, and the painting was called The Arrival.
Yeah, it was table number 13.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's really
so cool.
And she's like, and it's also going to be your table for the evening.
Oh.
So we were like,
it was so cool.
Okay,
It's a nice little transition.
Yeah, and it was actually, we felt so lucky because it was so busy in Club 33 this evening.
We
And
had this little table all to ourselves.
This area. And it was like, it was nice to have that kind of separation. And so that was really cool. So we got to sit at a totally different table. And then our server for the evening came up to us. Her name was Kirsten, and we never had her as a server before, but she remembered us.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, I remember you guys. And so it felt like, okay. We got recognized by a server here. And
server at Club 33, which is really funny.
Which is so exciting for us. I don't even know if she realized how much she probably made our day by saying that. Because
it's really cool.
Yeah, for the amount of times we've been there, that was impressive. So she recognized us, and then we got the menu. And they were telling us that, hey, this is the new spring menu.
Very good.
So because they switch it out. So what we had is totally different than what we had back when we went in the fall. Totally different than what we had at Candlelight around Christmas time.
All different.
Yeah. And so it was like, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, because it's not like you get tired of what you're eating, because there's always something different to get. And you look forward to like, oh, well, what's on the menu this time? What's on the menu this time? You know?
And it's such an incredible, like, the chefs are
they're so good.
Yeah, like they know how to, just everything is just amazing. Even if it's not something you necessarily like.
No.
I don't know how to explain that, but like I would never eat it. Like they still make it taste better somehow. And so we can tell you guys how much the price was for this. And I think that we have the menu in front of us. You guys can't see, but we can. And I'll probably put a picture up there. But it is $150 a person.
Oh.
Yes. And if you wanted that menu with a wine pairing, we did not do this, but that would be $245. And so
I'm surprised a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit, almost another $100. Yeah. And so for us, we're like, we'll just, the 150 was enough a person. So it is expensive, but it's worth it because that's what makes it Club 33. And so we won't go over everything they offered, but basically it's a 4-course meal. And you get to look at the first course, the second course, the entrees, and then the finale, which is like your dessert. And you get to pick, they have like 3 or 4 offerings in each category, and you pick from there. So,
but you order everything at once. And so they bring out the first thing. Once you're done with that, they bring out the second thing. Then once you're done with that, they bring out the third thing. So it's not all at once.
And every time,
and then they bring the dessert once you're done with that. Yeah, and they change your silverware every time.
Everything out. And
there's a reason it's so expensive.
So Mason also, there was a drink menu. They had non-alcoholic drinks. He ordered one. I don't have a copy of the drink menu, so I can't tell you exactly what it was, but I know it had, like, was it guava and mango, maybe? It was some kind of...
Good to remember.
Yeah, but he enjoyed it. Yeah, and so really he got that, and we then made our orders, and he got the tempura fried zucchini blossom.
That was good.
Yeah.
And my favorite. There was
goat cheese
on it, which wasn't my favorite.
And artichoke ratatouille.
Yeah, but the ratatouille was good.
So for me, I did not like the goat cheese.
I didn't either.
But the zucchini blossom, I love the ratatouille. The artichoke was very good. And so the second course, you got the Delta asparagus.
But they give you like the tips of it, and then they give you the middle part. And usually I don't like the middle part because it's too stringy. But it was good. Like every single part of it was good. It was all cooked proportionally, and the sauce was so good. There was truffles on it.
Imported black truffle.
What is a truffle? A truffle is a mushroom.
Yeah.
That is
really expensive.
It's extremely expensive. They're hard to get.
Yeah.
They're so like special. You can't just mass produce them.
Right. So I got the pan roasted diver scallop with English peas and morel mushrooms and Meyer lemon, and so good. Like I'm like, here, do you want to try some?
Like, sure, I'll try a little bit because you know, scallop, it looks kind of weird, and you try it, and you're like, woo!
Yeah, he loved it, and so that was his favorite. One of his, I think, favorite things.
Yeah.
And then we went to the entree portion, which for Mason, they had the sustainable fish and came with green garlic, salmon caviar, and a lemon
It was
sauce.
really good. The fish was really good. The caviar was especially really good.
And the sustainable fish was
the red snapper, which that was really good.
Then I ordered the sauteed petite beef tenderloin with braised beef cheek, spring onion potato puree. And so it was really funny because my mom got the same thing and she was eating hers and she's like, wow, these mushrooms are so good.
Like these mushrooms are really good. And I'm like, oh really? It's like
it's like,
and she's like, see, this is like, that's a beef cheek. And she's like,
oh my yeah. And she's like, well, I guess it was really good. And so there was, you know, if you're a vegetarian, I do apologize. I know this is probably not stuff you want to hear. But it was, the tenderloin was delicious. Like
people say steak cuts like butter.
Yeah.
And like I've had steak that supposedly cuts like butter.
33.
Well, no, also other steak too, or we get it rarely, but they say cuts like butter, and it's like, I mean, yeah, you can cut it with a knife, but it's not
steak knife.
This one is the definition of steak being cut like butter, and there's no way you can get better than that.
It was so good.
I'm saying that with meaning.
Yeah, because Mason doesn't eat a whole lot of beef or steak or anything like that. And so for him, this was like, he was like, oh, that's really good. And Jason, he got the Berkshire porchetta with Roman semolina gnocchi and sauce. So this portion, he gave me some of his, and it was good, but the gnocchi was just not like the way it was prepared. It wasn't like what I'm used to.
Obviously, some other people might love it.
It was like a cake. It wasn't like how we're used to seeing gnocchi, like the pasta. Yeah. It wasn't like that. So it was a little different. And with that green herbal sauce on it, just, you know, that was a little different, but it was still delicious. The rest was also really good. And so the next thing was our dessert. We all ordered something different so we could all try different things.
Yep.
And so Mason got the strawberry pistachio
crumble bar.
With whipped creme fraiche.
And it had
it also had a raspberry
sorbet.
It was really good.
It looked kind of weird, but it was
like a granola bar.
Yeah, it looked like a granola bar, but it did not have the texture of a granola bar, and it did not taste like a granola bar.
Ooh, that looks healthy, but really good. And then I got, they call it the Valrhona Mangiare dark chocolate indulgence.
That's the second option I was going to get, but because she got it, I was like, okay.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'll get it, so that way you can try both. Good. And that had dulce de leche cream on it. It's very rich.
My grandpa would have liked that a lot. He loves chocolate.
Yes, that would have been his favorite. And then Jason got the warm pineapple caramel cake with pineapple sherbet and tropical accents. So
triple accents, so fancy.
What it tasted like to me was almost like a banana bread with it was so good as well. But I say banana bread like, oh, banana bread, but it was like an elevated. Yeah, but that was it was
a godly banana bread.
Yeah, but it was pineapple in there, but I don't know, it was so good. And so that was, basically, that's what we ate. And we all enjoyed that. And during this time, though, we had another friend come out and say hi. We had met her the first time we were there. She'd given you the challenge coin. Her name was Molly. And so Molly came to say hi, and it was so exciting to see her. It's just so nice that they take the time to come say hi. I know they're busy. And so she came and said hi, and she was asking if we'd run the new Star Wars or the new Star Tours, right?
Actually, we haven't ridden Star Tours in since 2019 had to
It's
be.
been a long time. We have not. And so we're like, we need to ride that. And they have new changes on it. And I think like with Mandalorian or Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And so we're like, oh, cool. So
cool.
Yeah. And so she's like, you need to ride that. And Hyperspace Mountain, because it's usually Space Mountain, but they put an overlay on and hyperspace. So it's like Star Wars themed.
It's so cool.
Yeah. And so we were like, all right. So we're like, we'll go do that and we'll ride that after dinner. And our previous server, Alistair, he saw us. He was not at our table. He was serving others, but he came over just to say hi. And he's like, I want to tell you guys something. I have to tell you guys a story.
Oh, yeah. This is so cool.
And so he got his cell phone out and he showed us a picture of him receiving an award for 30 years of service. And I believe at Club 33. So he's been at Disney and he's been in Club 33. He's one of the original servers. He is incredible.
Yeah.
And so he was like, I was getting an award and they asked me to share a story or something of, one of my experiences here. And he's like, and I'm not just going to take like a minute. He's all, I told him I had a story. And so he shared Mason.
Story. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
And about Mason's book and how, because we had given him a book. He had been such a good server.
He was so kind.
And so he was like, so Mason, you're now part of Club 33 history. And
that's crazy.
That was like, whoa. Yeah. That was insane. And wow. So, I mean, this just all felt like from the moment we got there,
just pure magic.
Yeah. And it was because of the cast members and the way we were being
Club 33
treated.
is fancy. Disney is amazing. The rides are cool. The food is delicious. But Disneyland wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for the cast members there.
That's totally it. I mean, and I think a lot of people don't realize that, maybe who aren't Disney fans and don't go there often, but the cast members can really make or break a day there because honestly, Disneyland can be very stressful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's with the crowds, the lines, people trying to figure out which ride to go on. They're frustrated because they spent so much money and now they're standing in over an hour line to ride something and then trying to figure out where to eat. And you've got kids that are melting down and parents too. And so it can be, I mean, it's an awesome place, but for some people it can get stressful
because we have the magic key and we can go anytime. You traveling here, it's a rare occasion. You spent maybe $500 on Disney passes or more, depending on how many people are in your family.
Probably more because they don't have 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot and you make that commitment. And so I think for some people things get stressful because you want to give your kids the best experience. And so they're trying to get as many rides as they can. And so it's a lot, but the cast members do a great job of being available, being helpful. And I think, like Mason said, that's what makes your day. And it was like Disney magic. We also ran into, as we went through security, because you have to go through security checkpoints. And whenever you are like, when we were going back to the hotel, and one of the women working there, and this is terrible. We cannot remember if her name was Stephanie or Samantha. And
I feel like it was Stephanie.
I know. I feel like it is too. But then my husband was like, isn't it Samantha? And I think my mom was like, isn't it Samantha? And I'm
2
like,
versus 2.
No, but because this was only the second time we've seen her. The first time we saw her was when we went to Club 33.
Yeah.
And so this time she was like, remembered us. And she was like, what you guys doing? And we're like, well, we actually
are going to Club 33 again.
And so, yeah, she was like, oh my gosh. And so she took a while to talk to Mason and she's always like so supportive. And she's like, I still think about you guys. I am rooting for you. And she's like, I know you're going to change the world. Like you are just.
There's nothing better than someone saying, I know you're going to change the world.
Yeah. And she like truly means like, she's like, I just know you're going to do good things. She's like, you already have. And so it was really, really cool to run into her and the fact that she remembered us. And so that, again, another cast member that was phenomenal. And then we got to see fireworks, you guys. Yes. So that was like
for a second, we got kind of scared because we were sitting there.
So, the announcement.
We would like to get your attention that fireworks may be canceled due to high wind.
Yeah. Which for us, we were staying there. It was like no wind.
No wind.
And so
higher up, there could be some wind.
And so there's this thing that Disney does, and Mason knew to look for it. They release a balloon.
Yeah, a white balloon. If it's late and they're about to start a fireworks show, or it's around that time, maybe half an hour before.
Earlier too, they'll do it like I think they'll do it like around sunset.
Yeah. Well, we were there waiting for the fireworks. They released 2 that we could see. There could have been more.
So the fireworks were supposed to start at 9:30, and the last balloon we saw get released was probably like 9:30, just about. And so we were like, it's not going to happen. They're testing it again because they want to make sure it's safe. And so they test, and they didn't make an announcement that they were going to do them or not. They just started going with it. And we were like, okay, the show started. We didn't know if it was just going to be projections.
Yeah. The music just blares. They come like me jumping.
Yeah.
Because I was like, whoa.
Yeah. It does. Like all of a sudden, no. And and then
all of a sudden there's this like really bright thing that goes into the sky, and then there's fireworks.
And so we knew. And so we're like, yes. And we got to be one of the first ones to see the new Pixar Fest show, which was
so cool.
It was just like the best.
So many cool fireworks. There's an up house on the little wire where Tinkerbell used to go. And
and Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, Buzz Lightyear too.
They had it. Yeah.
It was so cool.
It was really exciting. So
there's a little Wall-E scene too, which is cool because Wall-E doesn't get much recognition. So it was really cool to see Wall-E.
And all the music, and it was just
so cool.
Yeah. And so that was pretty neat. Then we left. We went back to the hotel. Stayed up. Mason had more snacks. Like 1 o'clock.
I ate everything from Club 33.
Yeah, we were all really full. So I'm thinking, we went to bed so late because it was a late night for us, and we're like, you know what? Let's like order breakfast. Yeah. And so after that, we went back into the park. So we got to ride a few more rides, and then we'd already put all of our luggage, and like they take it and they put it in hold for you, so you can just go enjoy the park. And even though your room is no longer your room, you can come back later and get your car from valet and get your luggage. We ate at the Jolly Holiday. Okay. So you guys, like this sounds like it's like a mid kind of thing, but it's actually really good. It's their sourdough grilled cheese. And you get a tomato soup.
Oh, that's so good.
That's what we had.
And if you don't believe us that grilled cheese and tomato soup isn't special at Disneyland, watch Magic Journeys. And if you click on any one of their videos, they're most likely going to bring that up because it's their favorite thing.
Yeah, and it's good. It is super good.
Because when I heard about it, I was like, grilled cheese. And
I was like, we can make that at home. Why would I get grilled cheese at Disneyland?
And then you have it and you're like, okay, there's a big difference about having it at home and then having it at Disneyland. So we're going to go back and eat more.
So good. And so that's what we did. And then, so on the way out though, we saw somebody else. She was kind of looking at us like she recognized us. And then she like walked away, and she came back and she had Dawn with her. And so we got to leave and say goodbye
to Dawn.
Yeah. And Dawn was like, well, I told everyone about you guys. And so that's why she recognized you, because she'd shown them the book. And so the lady recognized Mason from the book.
This is so cool.
And it was like, so it was really cool. So
it's a full circle.
Yeah. And we went back, guys, and we baked cookies and thank you notes. And we brought them to all the cast members. And that made our stay special.
We saw Dawn when we went there.
She got a hug. Dawn got a hug, and hopefully we're going to keep in touch with her because she was just such a kind person. And we still have a book for our other friend that we are going to be bringing her probably next week. Yeah, we're very fortunate where we can just go to Disneyland for a few hours and come home because we have the passes and we're pretty close. So anyways, that
was our magical journey.
Was our magical
excursion.
Favorite. We like, if any of you want to, like, we watch the Disney vloggers on YouTube all the time because they
good ones. Magic Journeys, Ordinary Adventures, Fresh Baked,
Provost Park
Pass. He's a really good one.
And
Mr. Cheesy Pop?
Mr. Cheesy Pop too.
He'll post Disney videos.
And
isn't he in
what is Alex the
historian? Yeah,
Alex Historian. He does like the history.
He doesn't really go to Disney vlog.
No,
he has a lot of cool history videos about it.
Right. So he's more the history, but like for all their tips on what to eat, and so it helps us out because it's expensive and. I don't want to buy everything and try it and like be like, oh man. So this way we kind of know like, all right, what to try. And
so there's the ultimate planning videos.
It's so those we watch those before we go, and it's always makes it fun because we are foodies and we like to try like the new foods. And so it's always exciting. And so so that was our adventure at Club 33 and
Disneyland itself.
Other than that, that's it. So that's all we got for you this week. That's it.
That's all the magic for today.
Yeah. And we wanted to share with you guys. We'll be back to our normal IBD talk and all that next week. Message us anything. Reach out. Let us know. And you can also message us on Instagram at Team IB Determined. So if you're listening to us anywhere and you want to, reach us directly, you can message us on Team IB Determined on Instagram. You can give us a follow so I know who you are, and feel free to reach out and let us know what we could talk about. And you can also follow the Reggie Project.
Yes.
Take some pictures with Reggie. Show us your journey and
their favorite cheese pizza.
Yeah, our favorite for sure. And so share your journeys and we can show other people, put a face to this disease and show them the lives that people are living with it. And you guys can listen to us on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube
which is
as well.
YouTube
and
podcast is new. Yes, on Spotify. But if you are on YouTube and if you're listening to the podcast, but you want to hear and watch us, you can go to our videos. Yes.
You can see our smiling faces.
And if you are watching our videos and stuff like that, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to be notified every time we post a video, make sure to hit that bell icon.
Yeah, give us a shout out, subscribe.
And,
yes. And so thank you guys again for listening.
Thank you so much.
And we hope that this was of some interest to you. And if you've never heard of Club 33, maybe you learned something. And maybe if you haven't been, this will be a new goal.
Yes.
So,
your new goal at Disneyland.
Yeah, exactly. Get into Club 33.
Yes.
It's worth it.
It is very worth it.
So you guys have a great rest of your weekend, work at whatever's going on in your life.
Day.
Yeah, make it a good one. And we'll see you guys on next week's episode.
Bye.
We hope you will stick around, tune in, and reach out to us with your own journeys. We are excited to give you an inside view of what it takes to be a caregiver and what it's like to be a patient.
And most of all, we hope you'll maybe be able to apply something you hear on here that might help you in your own life. Sometimes life changes, and it's all about how you handle the journey.